Welcome back to the channel. Every time I try to make a bunch of YouTube videos, my work just comes crawling back like a crazy ex-girlfriend and gets in the way. So, I'm trying to do a different type of video today. I want to do a video where I talk to you guys, some of your comments, some of your questions, explain what I think, what I believe, what I've done to my car, what has worked for me, and hopefully help you guys build some of your projects out to be amazing, fast, reliable vehicles. Some of you guys might know I'm in the solar industry. California passed NEM 3.0, which pretty much takes away the return on investment for solar unless you buy a $20,000 battery. That has sparked a crazy market for us right now. That is why I haven't done any projects. Everything around here is just the same. But moving on to the video. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below, or you can email us at sendit@bzrmedia.com. We have two comments I want to go over. Sniper Pro Nerf Mods, who has a 383 kicking out 450 horsepower, has concerns over the rear end and half shafts and diff reinforcements and all that fun stuff in the back. And I wanted to go over that one. And the other one I have is from GH. And he's planning on building a 383 with 500 horse, and it's a 73 Goodyear Corvette. He wanted to know what kind of gear ratio, does he have to change out his half shafts or drive shaft or anything like that. Since both of these are driveline questions, I'll give you a very standard answer. If you're planning on running street tires, even on the strip, I believe that all your stock components, as long as they're in decent shape, will hold up just fine. Your tires essentially are your torque limiting fuse. You shouldn't ever see too much torque go through any component. You'll spin the tires prior. As for gear ratios, 411s for a car that is street driven and not raced, I would say are a little bit too short. I had 355s on my Corvette. First gear was useless. No matter what I did, I would have to roll into first gear, and around 25 miles an hour is when I could really lay it into first and actually have the car hook. Putting 411s on there is just going to make your first and probably second gear somewhat useless on the streets. If you plan on taking your car to the strip and running slicks, then the lower gear ratio would definitely help get you off the line. If you don't plan on doing that, I wouldn't recommend going with anything more than 355, especially if you plan on doing any freeway driving. 355s turning around 3,300 RPMs for 70 miles an hour on a stick shift, or probably 3,400 RPMs or so on an automatic due to the slip in the torque converter. With that being said, half shafts, they kind of fall underneath the same rules as the drive shaft. The drive shaft and the half shafts are protected by your tires. If you run big, grippy, sticky tires, you're going to have issues there. I ran a 158 60 foot on my stock half shafts and drive shaft. My half shafts had almost 30 degrees of twist in them, which definitely not ideal. I think if I was running anything shorter than a 355 gear ratio, I would have had some serious half shaft issues. The taller gears will protect your half shafts because they won't experience so much torque. 411s will put a lot more torque through your half shafts. I can't speak for 411s yet. I actually have 433s on my Vette right now. Unfortunately, I blew the second transmission, so I didn't get to test how those did or how my half shafts held up or U-joints held up. So that will be a future video once I get the transmission replaced. So what are some of my recommendations for the drivetrain? One of the big ones is making sure your bushings are all good. Any play, especially in the nose bushing of the differential, will cause you all kinds of problems later down the road. Second thing that is kind of wonky with the Corvette suspension. You know, it's 1970s independent rear suspension, not real advanced stuff. So as your suspension loads and unloads, you lose camber in your tire. And the problem with losing camber is the surface of your tire, which normally sits flat, will come up and you'll lose traction, gain traction, and then lose traction. This is really critical when you're launching the car because the rear of the car will load. The tires will lose camber, which will cause you to lose traction. You'll start to spin, and then as you spin, you slow down and the tire flattens back out, which causes it to re-hook up, and it gets stuck in this vicious cycle of unloading, loading the tire, which is wheel hop. So in order to solve that, I recommend Vette's 6-link. It was the first upgrade I did to my rear suspension. It removes the change in camber through the whole articulation of the suspension. The 6-link provides an upper and lower control arm, which stabilizes and controls the weight of the vehicle and removes the weight off the axles. So when the inevitable does happen and you break a U-joint, your tire doesn't flop in or flop out or do any kind of weird stuff and tear up your glass and have that axle flinging all around in there. One of the other benefits with 6-link is that they have inner and outer half shaft safety loops. It's a metal ring that keeps your half shaft from flinging all around, tearing up your battery compartment and other fiberglass in the area. And if you do blow a U-joint, that is really an important feature as well. Because one of the other things that can happen is that that half shaft can get all bound up on something and lock your tire up. Again, you don't want to have control issues like that. It's going to make some horrible noises and rattle around, but you will probably still be going in a straight line. Those are the 2 questions I had right off the bat. I've had a lot of driveline questions, and I just wanted to go over it and give you guys some insight on what my belief is. I would like to maybe help you guys with some of your projects. If you feel free to send me some emails with some photos of your guys' projects and with some questions. I'm not a know-it-all, but I can give you my honest 2 cents. Might only be worth 2 cents, but I'll try to be as honest as possible. Thanks for watching this video. Hope to hear from y'all, and I'll catch you on the next one. I have 4:30. There's an earthquake happening right now. Well, that was interesting. Welcome to Southern California. Well, this is always a sad sight. Dusty, just sitting here. Yep. Hasn't moved since I broke 3rd gear. You guys want me to do a startup real quick? A little bonus feature. It's gonna sound a little weird because I only have half the exhaust hooked up, but let's fire her up. She's sat since, I believe the last time this car was ran is October, and it is now February 22nd. This engine runs so good. It's a shame she has to sit here, and it's a shame that I can't drive her. But I tell you, it's only a matter of time. Damn work keeps getting in the way. Ay, ay, ay.